Hey, I'm going to walk through Lunar's remedy statistics feature and show you how it can be beneficial for your work and seeing what actually happens when we remediate and solve problems with Lunar Proxy. To do that, I'm going to spin off Lunar's sandbox that is a very easy way to get some data kicking in our system. So once our sandbox is running, we can actually see what's going on with the discover command that is already familiar to us from previous documentation. I'm going to watch this on continuous watch mode, so it's going to be updated every 1 second. And leave this hanging here so we can see what's going on. And as we start, we have a provider that is throttling us, and we're getting a lot of 4 to 9s exponentially on the rise. That's the purpose of this scenario, which is a problem for us, and we want to remediate this using Lunar's strategy-based throttling. So on the other panel, I'm going to watch on the remedy stats command that is our focus here today. And as we start, we have nothing interesting to see here because there is no remedy in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is to turn the strategy-based throttling remedy, which is defined under the global section, on. So I'm changing this in policies YAML to true. I'm going to enable this, which I prepared in advance. And as we can see, we want Lunar to supply 4 to 9s on its own without us hitting the provider and experiencing the exponential backoff. So right now we're almost half by half on the 200s and the 4 to 9s. In order to turn this on, I need to kick the apply policies command, which we have here. I'm applying my policies, getting this successfully applied policies from file confirmation, which is great. And right away, we're starting to see remedy stats. Remedy stats actually means that something happened in the system in terms of remedies. So the most basic thing to see is that our strategy-based throttling is working. We just turn it on and we can see it. The affected count is on continuously rising. It's on the rise, and the affected ratio is on the rise as well. Because the system was running a bit without any remediation, it will take some time for it to rise, but basically we're starting to see the benefit of what we just did, applying this remedy. So what do we actually have here? We have our system might have more than one remedy. So remedy stats is actually a list of all the remedies that had any effect during the run of the system. And pair remedy, we can see the action that it did. In this case, it generated responses. So the action is generated. What was the total affected count? What was the affected ratio? And the ratio is what is the affected count of this remedy divided by the total amount of transactions that went through Lunar Proxy in general. And then we can split this remedy by endpoint. In this case, we have just one endpoint, and it's a get on provider, which is a local running service on our system. It could be any API, external API URL that you have. Since this is defined as global, we're trimming this to the host level, but had it been defined on an endpoint level, you'd get the full endpoint here. And here we can see how it splits pair endpoint by status code. In this case, all the effect this remedy plugin had was to return 4 to 9. So this is exactly in equality with the total count. Remedy stats action is another section that allows us a bit of a bird's eye view on all the generated or all the modified, etc., statistics that our system generated. So instead of focusing on a specific remedy, this field here is focused on specific actions. Since the only action we have at the moment, for simplicity's sake, is generated, we see just one field here, which is all the generated responses transactions that ran through our system. Again, this is the same numbers because we have just one. But should you have a more realistic use case in which you have several remedies which are doing different actions, One remedy might be generating responses like what we did, like strategy-based throttling or response-based throttling. And another remedy might, for example, modify the request. For example, the account orchestration plugin. And then you'll get a different distribution, and it's very nice to see what did what and how much. As we can see, as I'm speaking, the ratio is climbing here because we're eating more of the pie, as we say, in terms of how many of the transactions were remediated by this specific remedy plugin.